Good morning and welcome to 2026, and this will be the latest episode of Developing the Trust from Tim Warnerford and James Smurthwaite. Good morning, James.
Morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Good, thank you.
Excellent. So rather excited about the year ahead. Quite a few things will be going on with Warnerford Consulting. One of which, James, which you've been charged with, and I know you're leading on, is our Energy Consortium. So I was wondering if you could kind of tell us what the latest is with that.
Okay, so we sort of understand that schools are under a massive amount of pressure in the sector at the moment. Rising energy costs, ageing estate, pressure to reduce carbon, and procurement is becoming increasingly more complex as well. So we also understand that the market is quite fragmented. There's loads of suppliers, varying quality. It's difficult to compare different offers, and it's quite high risk. So our idea really is to create an energy consortium within Warnerford Consulting that brings everything together into one trusted ecosystem. So, it's tailor-made for schools. It's practical. It's affordable. It focuses on delivery, not just a strategy. And really, we're going to take schools through everything from energy procurement right the way through to energy efficiency upgrades across their estates. How they can fund it, how they can install and maintain it. And the emphasis really is just on simplicity. So it's one door into a network of vetted specialists that deliver what's needed for the estate.
Okay, great. I mean, obviously, given Procurement Act 2023 and its implications now, what are you putting in place to ensure that organisations are pre-vetted, compliant, etc.?
So I know we've done this across a number of other aspects of Warnerford Consulting as well, but we're going to be using Delta resourcing. So Delta is going to align with the new Procurement Act. It's public sector compliance. It's financially, legal, technical, insurance checks and everything with our supply chain that's going to go into it. And that basically means that schools are going to reduce their procurement risk. We do the due diligence on their part, so it's already been done. It's faster, much more compliant procurement route to getting these solutions installed across their estate. So we've taken all that complexity away from the client having to do it. And we can run mini tenders through there as well. So things like solar PV, lighting, we can put lots of different providers against each other and make sure that we provide the most competitive, best value for money solution to our clients to deliver what they need to save energy and carbon.
Excellent. Obviously, we know from our experience that all schools want to do the right thing. They understand that they need to start the transition. And obviously the biggest blocker is funding, with SALEX not being available, with the fact that the school sector has traditionally done really badly from PSDS. What options can the consortium provide?
Also, everything from sort of the more traditional SIF funding, so we can support with that. That's got more and more of an emphasis on energy efficiency through the solutions that are being provided, so that's part and parcel of what we do. But we're also looking at things like HNES, so the Heat Network Efficiency Scheme, something that's quite unique to us. We've had a couple of schools that have managed to get funding through that as well, which it's not a direct replacement for SALEX, but it does provide some of that same support to schools in terms of funding and investigation into what they can do with their heating. But likewise, we can look at capital funding. If you've got funding available to deliver certain solutions, we can make sure you pick the right one that delivers cost savings for you. And we can also look at things like power purchase agreements where it's relevant, and also managed service models. So a school can actually install a solution, whether that's things like solar or lighting or heating in some aspects. And that's paid for as a managed service. It's maintained, installed, it's checked, warranties are good, and you'll gain savings from that solution that you can then put towards paying for that kind of ongoing maintenance and support. With those types of things as well. We're also looking at things like net zero as a service as well. So it's a managed service model. Schools might not need large upfront capital to actually design, supply, install, maintain and performance manage some of the solutions you might put in. So that would include things like solar PV, lighting, heating, controls as a wrap-round package, as a one-stop shop.
And obviously you're aware that all of this has to be compliant with the Academy Trust Handbook, which
Exactly.
we know that there's a slight loosening up, thank God, in terms of schools' abilities to be able to leverage both public and private sector money.
Exactly. So everything we do, we check that it's going to be compliant with that Academy Trust Handbook. It's vetted, it's tested, it's proven. These things are able to go through as part of that compliance. So yeah, it's something we've spent a lot of time. I know that you and I have both looked at it, making sure that these things are done in the right way.
Absolutely. I mean, everything we do is about transparency and about ensuring that we never commit our clients to anything that we can't basically support and that's not auditable. So my next question really is, have we got a differentiator? Is there anything different from us that the rest of the market thus far have not been able to offer?
Well, everything starts with our stage 1 decarb energy reports. So it's effectively a foundation for all decision making. So it's going to give schools a clear baseline of their current energy use and their carbon emissions. And then we get a real understanding of exactly how their buildings are performing. So we would then effectively prioritise solutions that will save them energy and carbon and ultimately save them money. So it's a realistic plan of investment over a 5 to 10 year period to make sure things are being replaced in the right way. We also tie that into a key principle, which is our fabric first approach. While we know that it's not always fit for purpose to do fabric first, we are aware of the fact that fabric needs to be upgraded to a certain level to be able to gain benefits from things like heat pumps or hybrid systems where you're using heat pumps and gas boilers. We also make sure things like insulation and air tightness and glazing are all up to a minimum standard to be able to provide those savings. So that's the first kind of part of our approach. But also, we've already touched on it, but we've also got the ability to deliver the recommendations in the right way, procured in the right way, tendered in the right way. The actual delivery of those projects are overseen potentially by Warnerford Consulting as well with our project management. And we kind of give that ongoing optimization and performance monitoring of those solutions. So it's not a drop and run, it's a gradually install these things, check they're working correctly, check they're working for the school. If they are working, potentially look at installing them in other buildings throughout the estate. It's that kind of ongoing support from what we do. That's the differentiator. So it's not a here's your strategy, it's more of a here it is, this is how we deliver it, and this is how we make sure it actually works for the schools.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add the fact that we've never ever operated on a tick box. For us, the carbon savings they're very welcome, but ultimately it's got to come as a result of the return on investment. The cost savings have to come first. We cannot expect our clients to carry the burden in terms of paying for carbon. So that's another thing that we obviously ensure that we always ask. Are there any other innovative or less well-known solutions that schools might not realise are available?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, we're coming across different ones all the time, and we're obviously getting approached by different people and going out to market to assess some of these options to see if they're viable. But there's a few things that we're kind of looking at, things like boiler optimizers, improving on controls on heating systems. We've seen that has a real positive impact on costs of heating buildings. Less wastage, obviously that means there's less carbon in terms of being, emitting from your heating system, which is a real plus. We've also seen the ability to actually monetize carbon savings. So if schools haven't got a strict carbon reduction plan that's being kind of looked at from an accountancy perspective, and they're actually looking at installing things like solar PV, which saves them money, but it also saves them carbon. It's actually looking at the carbon you're saving and monetizing that in the carbon market effectively. So someone might have their own carbon reduction. They might want to buy that carbon from you. So that's another good way of saving extra money. And something that's going to become more and more prevalent probably over the next 5 to 10 years is smart grids, dynamic balancing of energy. So we know that schools have a lot of periods of the year where there's no one in their buildings. If they've got solar panels on top of their roofs, it's actually having the ability to be able to understand when to sell that energy to people who do need it. But equally, when there is no energy being produced from the solar panels, it's having the ability to actually buy energy from the grid when it's at its lowest, storing it in batteries, and then using that in the correct way. So it's being a bit smarter with your energy use, effectively.
Excellent. And obviously, in terms of call to action, clients can just contact you directly.
Yep, exactly right. We're all over LinkedIn. Either go on the Warnerford Consulting webpage. We've got a kind of dedicated energy services part of what we do now. So if people have got any questions to do with energy, anything to do with their general estate fabric improvements that link into that, they want to understand it, just reach out to us and we're more than happy to have a chat.
Great. Thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Cheers.